My name is Florence and welcome to a video by Kenyan Crime Daily. Today we are going to look at the case of Thogori Chege Karago. By the way, at Kenyan Crime Daily, we cover Kenyan-based crimes, solved and unsolved, on a weekly basis. If this is content you enjoy watching, please consider subscribing to Kenyan Crime Daily. On January 21st, 2022, Thogori Chege Karago was found dead in her hotel room at Radisson Hotel along Waiyaki Way, Westlands. She was found lying motionless in her room. There were no visible injuries to her body, and her room was locked from inside. She was alone in the room at the time she was found. Officials confirmed her death at 5 p.m. on January 21st. She was only 33 years old at the time of her death. What really happened to Thogori? Was she killed? Was it a natural death? Let's find out. Grab a coffee, some popcorn, sit back, relax. Let's get into it. Thogori Chege Karago was a former senior software engineer and product manager and head of research and development for the African content at LinkedIn. Karago was in charge of overseeing the LinkedIn growth in Africa continent, creating opportunities for the African market. She joined LinkedIn, I believe, around September 2014, where she rose through the ranks to become head of research and development, a position she held, I believe, until the time of her death. Prior to this, she had served as the head of monetization team for LinkedIn subscription products, where she and her team were responsible for connecting job seekers with the knowledge and skills they needed to succeed in today's hiring market. She was also a senior software engineer, product manager, startup founder, angel investor, advisor, and a board member for 6 startups. So clearly you can see how this girl was super talented and super genius, at 33 years only. I would like to read you guys her LinkedIn profile in part just to help us to get her a little bit, to get to know her a little bit more. With these stories, my main aim is really to tell the story of the dead and not of the living. So I try to focus more on the life of the person as opposed to more of how they died. I tell more of how they lived their life. So I'm going to read you her profile. So I'm reading directly from LinkedIn, and it said, Thogori Karago is the co-founder and CTO of Pink Coconuts, an LGBTQIA+ travel community and platform. She is highly sought after startup advisor and product manager, and currently sits on the advisory board of 6 startups led by minority founders. Thogori is the former head of research and development at LinkedIn for the African continent. Thogori was responsible for overseeing LinkedIn growth on the African continent, with a vision to create economic opportunity for every single member of the African workforce. Prior to this, Ms Karago led the monetization team on subscription products at LinkedIn, where her team worked on connecting job seekers with the knowledge and skills they need to succeed in today's hiring marketplace. After leaving LinkedIn, she joined forces with acclaimed LGBTQ human rights activist and tech entrepreneur Donna Pigot, co-founder of Pink Coconuts, a high-growth startup and platform that connects LGBTQ+ travelers with friendly accommodation and experiences all across the world. She loves building technology and products that positively impact people's lives across the Pan-African diaspora, and particularly the most marginalized in our community. Her body was found in her hotel room at Radisson Hotel along Waiyaki Way. I believe the staff members had raised concern for her, probably because she did not come out of her room, or maybe her relatives or even friends were trying to get in contact with her. because police officers who were called to the scene said they found the 33-year-old lying motionless in her room on the 3rd floor on 21st of January. The Kilimani police boss, Muturi Mbogo, said the lady did not have any visible injuries or anything to suspect foul play or anything else. Preliminary investigations showed that she was suffering from diabetes. Officers who arrived at the scene said the room was locked from inside, again meaning that chances are there was no tampering or there was no other person in her room, and she was the only occupant of the room. Police also mentioned something very interesting, that they found food in her room that may indicate she was managing diabetes. So in my mind, I was just trying to figure out what type of food, but then I know that people with diabetes, especially type 2, they usually have a particular, or are recommended a particular diet, so probably going by that. But how would you even know? Because these days people tend to eat these sorts of diets even though they're not suffering from any particular, condition. So anyway, that's the information we have from the police at the moment. She was officially confirmed dead at 5 p.m. on the same day, on January 21st. I noticed that this girl was really, really loved. She had a huge community of friends, colleagues, right from Kenya to the US. She has a lot of friends from the US. So I'm imagining she went to the US and just built this huge community, which if you have lived abroad, it takes quite a lot to do. So she was really, really loved. And so I just wanted us to go through some of the comments that her friends and maybe colleagues left her. This point in time, we know that her case hasn't been solved yet, but police have launched an investigation into her death. According to the Kilimani boss, Muturi Mbogo, earlier investigations show that Thogori was diabetic, a condition that may have led to her abrupt death. There are indications, as I mentioned earlier, that she was diabetic, and police is also reiterating the same, but that is subject to further investigations. For now, the police boss says we take it to be a natural and sudden death. The body was moved to the MP Shah Hospital morgue. Police have launched investigations or an investigation into her death. According to Kilimani police boss Muturi Mbogo, earlier investigations show that Thogori was diabetic, a condition that must have led to her abrupt death. The police officer said there are indications that she was diabetic, but that is subject to further investigations. For now, we take it to be a natural and sudden death, he said. The body was immediately moved to MP Shah Hospital morgue. And I've been researching a little bit online this morning as well, and the latest information that I've seen is that an autopsy was done on her body on Wednesday, January 26th, and it turned out inconclusive, which is really sad. But the pathologist stated that they had detected blood clots in the brain. They, however, did not conclude that it was the cause of her death. Her samples were taken for further analysis, and we hope to get the results after 2 weeks. We found medicine used to manage diabetes in her room. It is suspected she had a blood clot in the brain, as per the pathologist, Mr. Mhogo, revealed. So again, we can see clearly that obviously it could have been the impact of this condition she had. Maybe, who knows, she had a heart attack or she just died peacefully in her sleep. But it's just so sad to be so loving towards people and, you know, just a kind-hearted person, and then to just die, you know, in a room alone by yourself. It's kind of really, really sad. It's really, really sad. We also know that Karago's business partner was also her life partner. She's a tech engineer, tech entrepreneur as well, designer and human rights advocate. And I have recently seen, as of yesterday, and this is the further update that I can see from the case, that an autopsy was done on her body on Wednesday, January 26, and sadly it turned out inconclusive. But pathologists stated that they had detected blood clots in the brain. However, they did not conclude that it was the cause of her death, which is, again, is just very sad. You dying on your own and the experts not knowing what killed you is just really, really, you know, sad. Samples were taken for further analysis, and we hope to get the results after 2 weeks. So obviously they're doing further analysis. I'm hoping they can figure out what really happened to her in those final moments. They're also reporting that they found some medicine used to manage diabetes in her room. It is suspected she had a blood clot in the brain, as per, you know, the pathologist's report. The family had a private ceremony on the 24th of January, and a memorial was planned 2 weeks from that day, which I think was held, because I've seen some of the pictures and tributes from that ceremony as well, and I'll just pop them on the screen as this video plays.